Hey guys, what's up and welcome to the unboxing and quick review of the Elephone U Pro. I am so excited for this phone. I'm also hosting a giveaway, so if you want to know the full details on how to enter, be sure to continue watching the video for all the details. So after you finish watching the video, I would love your thoughts and feedback on the Elephone U Pro. So with that being said, let's get started. I don't think many people understand how excited I am for the Elephone U Pro. This is probably one of the most excited I've been for a cell phone in a long time. Oh, this box is upside down. This is the perfect phone for me in terms of specifications, so let's take a quick look at what this Elephone U Pro has in store for us. So very quickly, this phone has a Qualcomm Snapdragon 660 CPU, 6 or 4 gigs of RAM, 128 or 64 gigs of RAM, and I highly recommend you guys get the 4 gig version, which I have linked down below. And it has a front camera, 8 megapixels, 13 and 13 dual rear cameras, and a couple of network bands. I'll talk about these later. And then it also has a 6-inch Full HD AMOLED display. This one I'm actually pretty excited to see how it looks. And also there is a 3550 mAh battery and Android 8.0 Oreo, which I'm very excited for as well. There's also USB Type-C, NFC, and wireless charging. All those things come together to make a very compelling phone, at least on paper. But let's unbox this phone and see what we got. I'm gonna say this box is actually pretty small. It's not as small as the Xiaomi boxes, but it's also pretty minimalistic. Here we have the cell phone itself. Pretty excited. Let's put this aside for now. Very quickly go through these accessories and then we'll talk about the phone itself. Here we have a USB-C to headphone jack. We also have a European charger. And finally, a USB-C cable. We also have a curved screen protector, as you can see over here, which is very nice. It'll fit perfectly on the curved screen. And we also have a pretty crappy case as well. So let's put all this stuff aside and get to the phone itself. I am so excited. Wow, this phone is quite compact. So I'm gonna pick up my OnePlus 5T. As you can see, the Elephone U Pro is a little bit skinnier than the OnePlus 5T, but it is a little bit taller as well. And let's pick up my Mi Note 3. So this is my Mi Note 3 on the right side. The Mi Note 3 is actually wider than the Elephone U Pro, but it's also shorter as well. All right, so very first thing that I noticed, if you remember, this phone has a wireless charging and you cannot wireless charge with a metal back. I can't tell if the back here is plastic or metal. Here, listen to me tap onto it. I think this is a plastic back. I don't think it's glass, but I will have to continue testing it to see. I mean, I just took this thing out of the box as well, so. Second thing, this Elephone U Pro is pretty tall, like other 18:9 phones. If you look at the Mi Note 3 on the right side, this is a regular 16:9 5.5-inch display, and as you can see, it is slightly shorter than the Elephone U Pro. But at least with the 18:9 phones, the Elephone U Pro here is a lot skinnier than the Xiaomi Note 3, which is going to be a lot easier to hold in your hand compared to a wider but shorter Mi Note 3. So we have the volume as well as the power buttons here. Nothing on this side, which is a little bit strange. Usually there is a SIM slot. And we have the SIM slot on the top of the phone here. And on the bottom, we have the USB-C as well as the speakers. Yeah, as you can see, the back of the phone picks up fingerprints pretty fast. You can see the fingerprints on the back of the phone already. Really doesn't look too good. It looks great when it's new, but when there's fingerprints on it, it looks kind of old and dirty. As you can see, there are dual cameras here and an LED flash, as well as a fingerprint sensor, which is indented a little bit, so I don't think it'll be too hard for me to reach it compared to the OnePlus 5T, which did have a barely indented fingerprint sensor on the back, so it was pretty hard to figure out where it was if you couldn't see. And of course, the crowning achievement of this phone would be the curved sides. It's a little bit hard to see on camera, but the sides are curved, both the front and the back, which does feel and look very nice in person. And I'm actually very excited to see what this curved screen looks like in real life. So let's actually turn this phone on and see what we got. I'll just turn this phone on and set up my account, and I want you guys to appreciate just how good this phone looks. It looks like there are no side bezels, and there are side bezels. I will show you later. But it honestly looks just absolutely amazing. And I'm just so blown away. The first impressions of this phone have been absolutely great. But there are problems and I will tell you about them. Almost completely white screen is probably the best way to see how big the bezels are. As you can see, the top and bottom bezels are pretty small, but they're not as small as the Galaxy S8. The side bezels though are almost non-existent, but there still are bezels that you can see on the sides. They're maybe like 1 millimeter or 2 millimeters thick, but nevertheless, because it curves, you can barely see that there are side bezels there, and they actually look absolutely amazing. Here you can see that there are real curves and they absolutely look amazing, but I do see one potential problem that I don't know if Elephone fixed, and that would be palm rejection. If my palm touched the side of the screen, I really don't know how Elephone's implementation of palm rejection is, so I really hope that they did a good job with palm rejection here. As you can see, the display here is an AMOLED display. It's not 4K, but it is 1080p, and it does look pretty good for an AMOLED display. I will say that the display here looks a little bit yellow to my taste at first glance, but nevertheless, the AMOLED display really makes this screen look very, very nice, and pretty much everything looks great. There's great color saturation, as you can see in the green parts over here. And as I go on to the next photo, you can see that the reds on the trees actually look very nice and saturated as well, which is nice. And finally, just look at how clear that photo is on this AMOLED display. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Again, it's a tiny bit yellow, but I don't think many people will take issue with that. And it looks great. And the blacks are obviously completely black, so it's very nice as well. The screen here is definitely better than most LCDs, and it's pretty much as good as the OnePlus 5T, but I do like the OnePlus 5T screen better at first glance, just because the OnePlus 5T is a little bit cooler to the look, whereas this is a little bit more yellow, which I don't like as much. Let's listen to this clip and see what the audio sounds like.
This it does, and Carson at full strength with the save. That's who scored a free kick recently against Leicester. Thorne. Foray forward this for Derby. Russell with the cross. Olsen's header. It was dropping. Romero tips over. Derby not here just to defend.
So let's talk about the software on this phone. I'm very pleased that Elephone has included Android 8.0 Oreo on this phone, which is very nice. I mean, even other Samsung phones are still on 7.1.1, but here we have Android 8.0, which is nice, and we have a new mini game in the Oreo as well, or a mini, I guess, what do you call it? Easter egg? I'm not sure what this is, but it's a little bit weird. Let's talk a little bit about how fast and fluid this phone is. Again, this is basically a Google Now Launcher, which I'm very impressed that Elephone has included that stock on the device, which is very nice. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Google Now Launcher, and the one thing that I find missing from Google Now Launcher is the swipe up to access the app drawer. Most of the time it is a tap that makes you access the app drawer, but I really like a swipe, as it is a lot more useful than a tap. It's very nice that you can swipe left to get to Google Now Launcher, and to be honest, general use is fairly smooth. There is a little bit of, I don't know if you would call it stutter, but the animations are not very fluid. So if you look at that, it's like it skipped a couple of frames. Look at that. You can see that it kind of jumps all the way up without really animating that many frames. I think it does feel fast, but it doesn't look very smooth. The last thing I want to talk about is the lack of navigation buttons. You can actually turn it off, and instead of using navigation buttons, you can actually do swipe up gestures. So for example, let's say you wanted to go home, you can swipe up from the middle and it takes you home. So if I open up an app and I swipe up in the middle, it takes you home. And what you can also do is you can swipe up from the left side and it takes you back, which is very nice as well. Finally, you can swipe up from the right and that takes you to the app drawer where you can switch. I don't know how much I like it. It is pretty cool, but I don't know if it is more useful or less useful than just regular buttons, but I will use it and I'll give you my full report on that later. Thank you so much for holding on for so long, but now for the giveaway. I'm giving away an Elephone U, and all you have to do is click on the link in the description down below, go to the Gleam app, and all you have to do is subscribe to my channel and click on that link, and boom, you are entered to win. Fast and easy, and best of luck to you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload more videos on the U Pro in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.